Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's your girl Nicole Austin, Miss Austin if you nasty. And to everyone who is viewing for the first time, welcome. So before we jump into anything about what I'm doing, y'all already saw the thumbnail, y'all know what it is. But if you are new here, what we talk about is perfume, we talk about day in the life of stuff, we talk about how-tos, we talk about like food. So it's a little bit of everything. So if you are interested in that content, please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, tell a friend about me. Now I will say, majority of the stuff that I have been posting has been about perfume, but I like to go with the ebbs and flows of what I'm seeing that people engage with more, what people like to see more, so on and so forth. But you know, I'm gonna keep it real spicy, keep it real interesting, and let's get into today's topic. So most of the video is not really going to be of me talking to you guys face to face. It's going to be me showing you how not only do I wax my chin here, which is clear today because I just did it yesterday, but also how I wax under my arm, something I have been doing probably for the past maybe 6 to 8 months. And I started waxing my chin hair as opposed to shaving because I noticed I was getting some dark areas, some pigmentation here that I did not like. And so I was like, maybe it's just the razor, you know, the trauma of the razor. So I started waxing and I definitely noticed that that little 5 o'clock shadow went ahead and took itself quietly out. So that's really amazing. And then I started doing under my arm for similar reasons. And then we will talk about it as I do the voiceover on these videos. So again, stay tuned and let's get into it. First thing you want to do is put on your pre-wax spray, clean that all up. So y'all, as you can see here, there is still some hyperpigmentation under my arms, but before I started waxing, it was so much worse. I mean, it was like black. So the wax has really helped to get rid of some of that hyperpigmentation, which I just think is due to the trauma of the razor, like I said before. Now, the thing about waxing is that you have to make sure the layers are thick, like so each patch that you're putting down, that it's thick. Now honestly, with me looking at this from the view of watching it, that would have probably been enough, but you will see that I do go back over it one more time just to ensure that it's thick enough layer. Now let me also say this. On my chin, which you'll see in a little bit, you can play around with a thin layer, but like under your arms, because there's also that fold, you just want to make sure it's thick and you want to make sure it's firm before you actually pull it off, okay? Another very important thing is you want to ensure you are going with the way your hair grows on the first pull. So my hair does not grow like up and down, it kind of grows on a curve. So you saw that I laid the wax slanted. After it's been on for about 10 seconds, you want to go ahead and start applying pressure in the direction of how the hair grows and then pull. Now here, I forgot to use the stick to actually pull up enough area to where I can pull the strip off, but you can do it that way too. Using my fingernails, honestly, is just as easy. And then gonna go ahead and get that out of here. Yeah, baby, look at all of that hair. I'd give the pain level maybe a 4. I think you just get used to it over time. Like, you know it's going to hurt. And so it's just like, you know. But honestly, it doesn't really even hurt that much. I don't even think it's me being used to it. Now, y'all, sometimes I do my own Brazilians if it's like a really busy month and I can't get out to my lady to do it. And that is what's painful. Trust me. Anyway, so now I'm just applying the second patch for the top part of my hair. When I see other people doing like under their arms, they do like one clean patch, and that's fine too if that's something that you guys want to do. But for me, because of how my hair grows, and I also have, you know, longer hairs that are straight, it's just easier for me to do it in this way in sections. But you guys do it however you feel comfortable. And again, you want this patch to be as sturdy as possible, and you want to be thick. When it is thin, especially under the arms, because again, the arm bends. And before I finish that, make sure you always keep your arm like how I have it, because if you bend it while the wax is still soft, oh, that is going to be hell to pay. Trust me. But anyway, so yeah, you want to make sure it is thick because you don't want to be second grabbing hair. Now, that is not something you want to do. You're going to be sweating all night trying to play around with that. Then you just want to go ahead and lift. Again, I did not use the stick. Pull, and this is the result of it. I didn't use the stick to like release them from the bottom so I can have something to grasp onto, because using my fingernails is fine. I will though show you guys how I do it with using the stick to lift it in one of these examples. I don't remember which one, but you will see here soon. And this is going to be my final patch, and I do it in the motion going upward for the most part, because that way it gets like the loose hairs best for me, to be honest. You saw me brushing it down. That's just to kind of get the wax off. Remember, I'm doing this on myself, so the technique may not be exactly as the esthetician does it. And again, let me just go ahead and say this: I am not a professional. Okay, try whatever you want to try at your own risk. I'm not telling you to do this, entertainment purposes only. Just let me get that disclaimer out there, right? So again, just making this really, really thick because we don't want no problems. Although this strip, even if it's a little thin, it would be okay because most of the hair is up and you shouldn't have any issues. But again, just going ahead and grabbing it with my fingernail, pulling it down. Look how simple that was. If you forget to use the stick, just making sure that it's firm enough, because it just makes life easier when it is. And just getting prepared to pull that on down. But yeah, that happens sometimes, y'all. Don't feel no way. Clean it up. Again, I use my fingernail for everything. This may not be the most satisfying, but that's just how I do it. And then that's just a few little pieces of hair that's left over, because again, by the time I do that strip, most of the hair is taken up. And since I walked you guys through the other arm, I figured we would just do a little talking here. So many of you may know, who've been following me, because I've mentioned it before, that I am a life coach, right? And I do have my own business where I do life coaching. And I've noticed things I've seen on social media as well as with my clients is that people are having a real issue with dating. If you are one of those people, listen up. A few of my clients have been expressing some disappointment with dating because, you talk to someone, you meet someone, you think you're vibing, you think everything is going well, and then it doesn't work out the way that you want it to work out. And so there's this heavy amount of disappointment. And something I want to tell you guys is that you can't be disappointed if you do not have expectations. You have to understand that anyone that you are dating is a stranger. If you don't know where they live, if you don't know what they drive, if you don't know who their parents are, if you don't know who their siblings are, if you don't know certain facts about them, they are a stranger. So when wanting to get to know someone, you have to have the expectation that, yeah, this might work out, while also having the expectation that it may not. So this is your personal expectations. You should set those for yourself, for you mentally, but you cannot have expectations of other people who are not committed to you. And the reality is the disappointment comes from hope, and it's premature hope. Because things are going good in that moment, you think it's going to always be good. And so then you create this image in your mind. And when that image does not pan out the way that you wanted it to, then it's just like, oh, this person wasted my time, and so on and so forth. Here's the thing we have to understand. Now, I can't say that person did not waste your time because I don't know what conversations you have. And maybe the conversations, maybe their actions in the moment had you to believe that this was going to be something serious. That was going to be something serious, right? Or something more than what it was. But you have to get that when you're dating is designed to have multiple people involved. When you are a single person and you are not committed and you're not looking for anything polyamorous or, any poly type of situation, you don't have to tie yourself to one person. You do not have to only date one person. I understand that you may like some people you date more than others, and this is for men and women. You may like some people you date more than others, but you should always have your roster open because other people do. Trust me. Now, before I continue on dating, y'all, this strip probably was the most painful strip of them all. Like I said, my right arm is just the absolute worst. But here I am just waiting for it to dry, patting it down, like I said, just to make sure we got it all secured there, and then watch it go. Listen, y'all, it gets like that sometime, but I did get a good little bit of hair up from under my arms. And the one thing about waxing is that you'll notice that, the hair becomes less. Now, the reason why that wax is so hard to spread here is because it was not warm enough. So make sure that when you are spreading the wax, that it's at a good temperature. It should look like honey, like kind of dripping off the stick. And this was just too much on the stick. It looked more like sugar, like if I was using sugaring. So just a little keynote there. But back to what we were saying about dating. Look at yourself as an employer, right? When someone is hiring for their company, they don't hire the first person typically, unless it's just someone with an exemplary background, right? They have multiple candidates that come in to interview for the position, and the employer is going to hire the best person for the job. That is what dating is. You are looking around, you're dating people, and you're trying to figure out who was best for the job. The employer has a full understanding that this particular batch of candidates, they may not find the person that is best suited for what they need, and they'll have to look again. And they may be a little bit disappointed. It doesn't stop them from looking for someone to fill the position. And you have to have that same mindset, because they understand that, yes, I want to get this position filled, but I want to make sure that we're filling it with the right people, because you know why? It's very expensive to train people. It's very expensive to go through the interview process. It's very expensive for all the components that involve onboarding new associates. And if you looked at your time that way, if you looked at your energy, your love, your emotions that way, then you would start lowering your expectations of people, hiring your expectations of yourself, and then finding a good balance for being out here in this dating world. Because yes, the dating pool does have methamphetamines in it. But there are still some parts of that dating pool that has your happily ever after in it, the rainbows and the fairy tales. And you just have to understand that you may have to sift through a little bit of meth to get to that. And I'm not meaning the literal drug, you guys. Please say no to drugs, okay? So yeah, that's just my little 2 cents on everything. You just gotta have the correct expectations of dating. So here I am just doing my little cleanup, wiping it down. This oil came with the waxer, the wax kit, the wax heater. I don't even know what it's called, but I'll show it to you here shortly. So here I am now going to do my chin here. And y'all, I'm going to apologize in advance because this was terribly shot. Here is the heater. I will put it in my description below, in my Amazon storefront. So I'll put all that in the description. And I spent like $15 on it. It's great. I've had it for a while. It works wonderfully. And that is the pre-wax that I use. I put it on toilet tissue. Don't got to do nothing too much. And just wipe off the area that you are going to wax. Now, I don't know if this is hirsutism, or it's just chin hair, or just something that is hereditary, because I don't have a lot of it. But, I have definitely more than I would like to. So here I am just laying the first strip. Sometimes the little flyaways do happen. So just take your time and, roll your stick and it'll come off. So you want to hold your skin taut and then go ahead and pull. Wow. Bow. Ta-da now, right? So that's how much hair came off from that section. I always like to start going in that direction. But again, that's the way my hair grows. Go in the direction that your hair grows. So here's another strip, which I'm going to put under all of my chin, like all the hair. Again, that same direction. Sometimes, yes, you're going to loop back around, but for the most part, you want to make sure you're going in the direction of the hair, right? So again, those little flyaways going to happen. And here you see me using the stick to lift the wax. And that's just how you do it when you want to use the stick as opposed to using your fingernails. Then again, keep pressing it down just to make sure it's all good in there. And you don't want to pull until everything is firm. Now, the reason why you didn't see me holding my skin taut under my arms is because I just can't. But, as often as you can, you want to make sure that you do. So those are the hairs that came up that time. As you see, the hairs are very spread out. When I started waxing, they were way more clustered together and it was a lot more hair. So sometimes the wax will drip down a little bit, especially when it's at the right temperature. All you gotta do is just use your stick and kind of gather it back together. So now I am going in the direction of just up and down, right? You don't want to wax an area more than 3 times. So I try my best not to do that. Sometimes I may do 4, and that's very rare, but I will if I feel like maybe too much hair is just left behind. And then if anything, if you've done it 3 times already, just go on with those tweezers and you will see me do that here shortly. Yeah, I was fighting with this little piece of wax. I was fighting with it, okay? But I got it under control. Okay, I got it under manners. And then I'm just making sure that it is firm here again. I am going to hold my skin taut and go ahead and do one clean pull. The reason why these pulls are coming off so great, and there goes the hair, is because the wax is thick. If this wax layer was thin, it would have been stripping all over the place. It would have been leaving stuff behind and all that type of stuff. So again, I cannot stress enough. Please make sure your wax layers, your wax strips are thick. And this is going to be my last strip under my chin here. And I did it in direction where I noticed the hairs were kind of going for the ones that were left behind. And you guys know the tea, go ahead and pat it down when it's firm. I would say it should take about 15-20 seconds to get to the firmness that you need to go ahead and pull. This time I forgot to use a stick, so again, use just my fingers and got off that last few pieces that had some length to it. And then you're gonna see here, I'm just feeling around to see what was left behind, because sometimes it's too short to actually to see it like with the naked eye. And I'm just pulling out what's left over. Just getting them out of there. And I really apologize, guys, because I know that sometimes you guys like to watch this to be relaxing, but I just did not have the camera angles well. If I ever do this again, I will be sure to pay more attention to how the camera's looking. I did move the camera so that I can try to give a better view, but then I have my hands in the way. And I'm not giving y'all the finger. It's just the longest finger on my hand, and it's easier for me to pluck these hairs. So that hair gave me the hardest time. Actually, I don't even think that I got it out, to be honest with you, which frustrated me beyond belief. Trust me, that's me here, just really knee deep in the mirror trying to pull out. Still didn't come out. So it's whatever. I just went ahead and got to the other ones. This part of the process probably takes the most amount of time, honestly, because waxing is pretty quickly, or it can be the least, depending on how many are left over and how short the ones that are left over are. Because for me, I like for my hair to grow back as evenly as possible, because I wax maybe every 2 weeks. For under my chin, and then under my arms every 3 to 4 weeks, right? So I want the hair to grow back as evenly as possible, so that it's not some short ones when it's time for me to wax again and, you know, all that type of stuff. So yeah, so this is why it's really important for me to tweeze, just to get everything at an even and fair level. And again, this is just a terrible, terrible view, but you guys get it. Just plucking the hairs, and I don't even have to really even look, to be honest with you. I have been doing this for so long and I've been plucking my chin hair for a while, for years, in between like shaving sometime and stuff like that. So I can just feel it, kind of grasp where it is, and then just use the tweezers and go to that area and just kind of start plucking it out. And typically it comes out. It's only if the hair is like stubborn or really short do I have to really, really actively use a mirror to get these hairs out with the tweezer. And if you guys like this, like life coaching, dating tips, or anything, you know, related to life coaching to add into like voiceovers of the videos, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to do more videos like this. You know, it's something I do every day, so I have a good amount of expertise in it. Or if you have some dating tips that you like to share with people on how not to be disappointed in the dating arena, please go ahead and leave that in the comments as well. I'm sure that we can all use different bouts of information. But here I am just wrapping up the tweezing, and then what I'm going to do next is go ahead and put some aloe vera gel on that area. It just really helps to prevent irritation or, you know, anything like that. And I think it also helps with any hyperpigmentation that may come about. And that is it, guys. Now, next week, we may be speaking about this diet that I recently started on. I started for the month of January, but I don't know. I'm feeling like it may be something I do lifelong, which is a fruitarian diet, about 90% fruitarian, and the rest is raw vegan. So I do eat some vegetables in there. So I might kind of document that. It may be back to perfumes. Who knows? But again, if this is content that you like, that you are interested in, please like, comment, subscribe. Again, tell a friend about me, because that's how we build this channel. And until next time, stay safe and be blessed.